Welcome to the Be Well and Ground podcast, where we come together to nurture our bodies, our families, and our lives in a way that's sustainable, healthy, and full of heart. I'm your host, Emily, and each week we'll connect with wellness experts, passionate professionals, and fellow mamas to bring you practical tips and inspiration on everything from motherhood and health to gardening and low-tox living. This is a space for community where we lift each other up with actionable advice, support, and the tools you need to create more balance in your life. Whether you're looking to grow your garden, simplify your wellness routine, or just find that little bit of peace in your busy day, we've got you covered. So grab a cup of tea, join the conversation, and let's journey toward a more balanced, more vibrant life together. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Be Well and Ground. Today we are talking with a very special guest. If you've been curious about what a doula does, or if you're navigating pregnancy and feeling a little bit overwhelmed about birth, this episode is for you. I'm chatting today with Ally Raven, a certified birth doula who supported over 40 families. We're talking about everything from managing birth fears and advocating for yourself in the delivery room to handling postpartum mental health and what happens when your birth plan doesn't go as expected. Ally also shares incredible insights about how partners can truly show up during labor, and she opens up about balancing her work as a doula with being a mom of 3. This conversation is honest and practical, and as always, full of so much heart. But before we jump in, I want to tell you about something really special. Ally created an online Birth Partner Bootcamp that gives partners all the tools they need to support you during labor. It covers everything from recognizing labor stages to hands-on comfort techniques, and it's self-paced with lifetime access. Our listeners get 15% off with code UFLOW15. So that's the letter U, FLOW15, and that link is waiting for you in the show notes. So don't forget to grab it. Now let's dive into this beautiful conversation. Thank you so much for joining me today, Ally. I've missed you so much. I think you just had a big move, right, from the Huntersville area. So I wanted to start out this podcast just to kind of get to know you a little bit more. So if someone doesn't know you, what you do, if you wouldn't mind just taking a few minutes to kind of give us a quick little bio about you, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, I've missed you too. I'm so excited to be doing this. Hi, I'm Ally. I'm the owner of Ally Raven Doula Services. My family just relocated from the Charlotte area back to Raleigh, so we are back to the Triangle. I have been in the birthing world for about 6 years now. I've been a certified birth doula for almost 3 years now, and I've supported over 40 families. And I'm just really excited to share a little bit about me and what doulas do on this podcast.
So let's kind of kickstart there. How would you describe what a doula's role is in someone that's hearing it maybe for the first time?
Yeah, so a lot of people get confused between doulas and midwives. So the main thing with the doula is that we are not medical professionals. We don't do any cervical checks. We don't do any like Doppler readings on baby, nothing like that. We are very much hands-on support, emotional support. We do different position changes to help baby get in good position, all of that kind of stuff. And then before childbirth, obviously, we do a lot of education. So we do childbirth education to help prepare you and your partner for understanding, like what does childbirth look like? What does it look like to have a baby come out? All that kind of stuff. And we are so much more than just another hand to hold in the room. A lot of times, like my clients are now friends of mine. Like it's very much a bonding experience because you are asking your doula to be in the room with you during one of the most intimate times of your life. So it is very much your doula is someone that you bond with for a very long time. We are there to support you in any way that we need to, whether it's emotionally giving you strength, guidance, advocacy, whether it's physically with hip squeezes or anything like that. We kind of do a whole lot of things.
Yeah. So maybe we could go backwards. If we were to say someone contact you, like they want you to be my doula, when do you normally see people contact you to get into getting prepared for birth? Like how many weeks are they normally, or what would you recommend for someone that is?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of the fun thing about being a doula is that I have people reach out the second that they get a positive pregnancy test all the way until they are due in a week. So it kind of, and I've also had people reach out that are currently trying to get pregnant. So it is kind of like a big different range of when you can reach out. I usually recommend reaching out anywhere between like that 12 to 20 week range because that's usually the time when most people have no idea what's happening. They're kind
Mhm.
of in that weird, like, am I pregnant? Do I feel pregnant? So that's a good time to reach out, get booked, and secure your birth doula, because then you can start education. You can start asking your doula all these questions that, you're not going to see your provider for another 6 to 8 weeks at that point. So
Right.
having your doula there to ask questions to can be really helpful during those kind of few weeks where not really much is happening.
Yeah, I think isn't it like it's 4 weeks forever at the doctor
Mhm.
and wait to go
Yeah.
back. So having someone
Yeah.
just to or talk about, especially if it's your first pregnancy, like, "Is this normal?" That might be
Mhm.
very helpful. So is there specific things that you offer as a doula? Do you do some prenatal visits or something like that prior to the actual action of giving birth?
Yeah. So all of my clients get prenatal sessions, and that is where we go over some childbirth education stuff. We work through your birth plan and kind of understanding, depending on where you are giving birth, whether it's a hospital, a home birth, a birthing center, kind of understanding your options and what each route may or may not look like. Talking about if you want an epidural, if you want to try unmedicated, how to prepare for those things. And then depending on if you are wanting to breastfeed, then we also do some breastfeeding education and kind of help prepare you for things to expect in breastfeeding. So yeah, we have a couple of different prenatal sessions where we go over a bunch of educational stuff. And then I also have your partner, if you have one, be there for those sessions, because you are not the only one that is going to be in the room when baby comes and going through all the stuff. So I'd like to make sure that your partner has a lot of education. They kind of know what to expect. They can ask all of their questions and feel like they are able to actually help instead of just standing in the corner terrified. So, yeah.
No, I love that. That was actually my next question because I remember when I met you, you were offering the boot camp, partner book or boot
Mhm.
camp, which is great because I guess really your partners really don't know how best to help you. And especially coming to the meetings with you, I think is very important for them to know, like, hey, this is something I can do during labor, just to
Mhm.
kind of help out. So, what would be, do you have a philosophy around pain management intervention, medical decisions? Are you there to help the person giving birth with those decisions, or how does that kinda go with a doula?
Another part about being your doula is that I am there to help you with those tough decisions, especially for clients who want to go unmedicated but might not be prepared enough or might not be able to go unmedicated for any reason. Then I am there to help with understanding those decisions and making sure that they are making the decision for themselves. A lot of times you can feel pressured to do certain things, whether it's pressure to get an epidural or pressure to not get an epidural or whatever it may be. As your doula, I'm there to help kind of take that pressure off and give you space to fully understand and be able to make that informed decision regardless of what is going on around you.
Yeah. That's really helpful. So, speaking of getting support, kind of asking questions and kind of leaning on you for that information, what would you say you find are the most common fears that for moms to be when it comes through giving birth, and how do you kind of help them navigate them? Is there kind of some core ones that stick out through your clients?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I think one of the biggest ones is obviously like they don't want to tear. That's
Oh,
always the biggest one is moms are like, I told vagina to just like rip open. I'm like, that's fair. I mean, a baby's going to come out of it. And so a lot of that is education on, like what actually does and does not help tearing, and also education on how to advocate for themselves when it comes to pushing out their baby, because the best way to prevent tearing is pushing baby out slowly and
mm,
not just like having baby shoot out like a rocket. If you go into childbirth knowing like, okay, when it comes to pushing, like I need to let my body do it and I need to actually, although you get to a point where you want to be done with a baby coming out, it is very important that you have those times where you take things slow and take a deep breath and just kind of relax for a minute. And then the other one that I've found, especially with my parents who are giving birth in a hospital setting, is that they're going to be pressured by providers to do interventions that are not needed.
okay.
That's probably the biggest one. And that one, again, it is just giving everyone their options, making sure that they understand, okay, in a hospital setting, these are some interventions that might happen. these are interventions that usually don't need to happen. How do we take a pause and talk about it and figure out, okay, is this what is right for you? Or is this because there's something else going on? So really just helping them to understand how to advocate for themselves, what questions to ask, and reminding them that just because, doctors can be scary and intimidating and stuff, like they're human, just like you and I. So take time to pause, ask those questions, and realize that you are actually in control of what happens. You
Mm.
get to say yes and no to everything.
Um, it was something along the lines of not knowing your options, or knowing your options kind of helps you versus not knowing, because then you don't have a choice. Like if you don't know
Mhm.
your options. So I think it's very important, the education piece that comes with having a doula. Would you say there's anything specifically that you wish clients asked or advocated for, or they wish they could ask themselves? Is there a core or common theme that you found? You're like, hey, this is something I really recommend asking.
I would say that if everyone knows that they can ask why, that's the biggest question. Because a lot of times it's just a provider coming in and saying, like, okay, we need to start Pitocin. We need to break your water. It's time for you to get an epidural. Then
Mhm.
a lot of parents forget in the moment that a simple why can change the whole course of what happens next.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's just that a provider wants things to get sped along, or sometimes it's because baby's heart rate keeps dropping, but they're not explaining it. So just asking a simple why when you don't know, or you don't know how you feel about them offering something.
Mm. I remember we never talked about our birth stories. We should do
Mhm.
that.
I know we haven't.
I
Wait.
know, we can totally do that. But during my birth, you stalled
Mm,
forever. And one of the
mhm,
things I kept asking or needing is I always wanted explanations. Like I needed to know, well, if we did this, what would that mean? Would that I was basically just constantly just taking information in, which is really helpful to do, because you feel in the moment that it's like, okay, exactly what they say I should do. It's like
mhm,
before I had a very specific way I wanted to give birth and it didn't happen, which is
mhm.
kind of another segue. How do you kind of help moms when that happens, whenever they do have a plan and it doesn't go their way? How do you be that grounded support for them?
That is a tough one. That's a tough one because I have also had births. I've had 3 children now, and I've had births where I was very much like, "That's not what I wanted." Like, it is a grief process that you have to go through, and I think in my experience, the thing that's helped the most with my parents is helping them understand that it's okay to grieve that, and that they're not selfish. They're not like a crazy first-time mom who's like, "I wanted this beautiful birth." I know you did, and
Yeah.
it's okay that you didn't get that. Because a lot of people kind of jump to the whole, "But your baby's here. Be happy that your baby's here." It's like, okay, well, you are happy that your baby's here, but you're also mourning the fact that your birth was not anything like you thought it was going to be or dreamed it was going to be. Because some people dream about their birth experience for years. So yeah, just really helping them to understand that, like, this is a grieving process. It's
Mhm.
okay to go through it. We're going to go through all the steps of grief, and I think just doing debriefs of labor is something that I try to do with all my clients, whether they have like a beautiful, magical, literally perfect to a T birth or a super traumatic birth. We still do a debrief of it, because even my clients who have had those perfect births that they have dreamed about for years have things that happen during the birth that they're like, oh, wait, I do need to talk about that a little bit. And talking about it with someone who was there can really help, because sometimes so, like, helping kind of put those puzzle pieces together can really help that process as well, to
Yeah.
help, again, move along that grieving process.
Yeah. I love you kind of touched on it a little bit at the beginning, but can you walk us through what the postpartum care looks like? Let's say we just had birth. What does that look like for you? What kind of care will I expect as a mama from
Yeah,
you?
so usually once baby's out, then I help with that immediate postpartum. So it looks different from client to client depending on what everyone wants. Because some people, it's like baby comes out and they're like, cool, we're good. Like, we want alone time. And I'm like, great. Other people very much want help with getting that first latch going. Sometimes I have clients who are like, okay, yeah, I think I want you to stay, but not for very long. And then once we're actually in that moment, they're like, you can't leave. Like, no, you can't go anywhere. Like, I need you here for a little bit. And I'm like, okay, great. So whether it's helping with latch, whether it is helping you to kind of come back to yourself after having a baby, because sometimes after you have a baby, you are kind of like out of it and it can kind of be hard to get back. So sometimes I will just sit there and talk to them and help them do small things to help them kind of realize like this isn't a dream, this is actually happening. And then making sure that all the things that we talked about in your birth plan, as far as like, do you want your baby to get any shots? Do you want to do delayed cord clamping? If so, for how long are we doing that? All those things I help with a lot in that immediate postpartum because that's usually when things are kind of going a little quicker. So just making sure that those things are being paid attention to and that the people in the room are respecting boundaries and all that kind of stuff. And then also a big one that I really push in that immediate postpartum is making sure that your partner is there and is also aware that like, hi, they have a child too. Because I've seen so many times where partners, like the second that baby comes out, the partner just kind of sits down and they take a break and kind of like zone out for a second because they've been doing so much work and, so nervous and hyped up about everything. So usually I will, let them have their second. And then pretty quickly I'm like, can you go over and like say hi to your baby because they're here and they want to see you? And they're like, oh my gosh, what? I have a child. So making sure that your partner realizes like, okay, like they have a child too. It's not just you.
That kind of leads me into a great segue for how I met you, actually, which was through the Birth Partner Bootcamp that you were offering in Huntersville. So that is something that is online. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Perfect.
have a self-paced online class.
Perfect. Can you give me like just a big overview of what that looks like and how that can be helpful to people that are expecting?
Yeah. So my online class is self-paced. So it's one of those classes where like you purchase it online and you have access to it for life. You can go back and rewatch videos. In the class, it's taught by my husband and I, and we go over some childbirth education stuff, kind of preparing more so the partner of what they can expect. So instead of talking about what mom might feel, we talk more about what the partner might see from that perspective so that if they see their partner all of a sudden spiraling one day or in a full blown meltdown and not be so alarmed by it. So we talk about a lot of stuff leading up to childbirth, how they can prepare leading up to it. So making sure that the car seat's installed, helping with hospital bags. I always give the partner the biggest role, and that is preparing the snack bag. Because if you have been in labor, you know that is the most important bag that there is. Yeah. So we talk about how to prepare things like that so that essentially mom can just focus on what she needs to do for her body. And then we get into the different phases and stages of labor and kind of, again, we go over what the partner might see change within their person and different things that they can help throughout each phase and stage, different movements that they can do, different ways that they can distract. And then when we get into actual labor in the hospital or at home, wherever you're laboring, different hands-on supports. We do a lot of hands-on support practicing. So in the online class, there are videos of every single hands-on support and how to do them. And then my husband talks a lot about mental health because a lot of times we forget about the partners when we talk about postpartum mental health. My husband talks about that in there and kind of ways to prioritize yourself. And it's just a whole lot of information. And again, a lot of people like the online class, especially because they can go back and rewatch it. So you have access to it for life. It's also kind of fun because you can put it on your baby registry and someone can purchase it for you.
So if you could like boil it down to one most important piece of advice from your boot camp, what would it be?
I would say that the biggest thing that is most important is to just be present because a lot of times the partner forgets that just being there for the person and making sure that they are doing okay can help more than anything. A lot of stress over like, how do we get the nursery ready and the car seat and all that kind of stuff. And we talk about in the boot camp how at the end of the day, as long as you are there and they can see that you're there supporting them, even if you are freaking out on the inside the whole time and you are just like white as a ghost, then if you are there with them and they know that you're with them and that you are supporting them, then that's all that they're going to remember.
Mhm. The thing I remember the most from my birth, all I wanted was my husband's head against mine. That's all I
Mm-hmm.
needed, the noggin. So I don't know why that comforted me, but it was just
Yeah.
a
Yeah. Honestly, that's how it's been with a lot of my clients. Like,
really
out of every single thing that I'm doing or their partner is doing, like, they just need their partner's face, like, in their face.
just right here, just
Yes.
yeah.
Uh-huh. Like,
Oh,
that's it.
there must be
Mhm.
something there, but
Yeah. And then the baby comes and you're like, "Get your face away
okay,
from me,
now
please."
don't. So thank you for sharing about that. I'm definitely going to link that below. So if anyone's interested in purchasing that, and I think you're going to share a discount code as well with that. But I want
Mhm.
to kind of jump into the postpartum mental health. Now, we just found out, I didn't realize our babies are 3 days apart, I think.
Yeah, 3 days.
Yeah. So it's my second and your third. And
Yep.
mine came a week late and I had to induce him. And then I think yours came, like she was ready.
She was almost a car baby. Yeah.
Gosh, I remember I had that fear about that. We're gonna have to talk about that.
That was my only fear, and
Really
it almost
the car
happened.
baby, and it almost happened.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I
Mhm.
want to talk about postpartum mental health. So, how would you say that the support differs than what most people expect for their health, if that makes sense? Like,
Yes.
what do people expect postpartum support to be like and versus how it can differ?
Yeah, so this is actually something that I talk a lot about in my prenatals
Mm,
because I've been through postpartum a couple of times now, and I think everyone always assumes that their village or supposed village that they have will be essentially waiting at their door, asking them what they need, what they can do.
mhm.
And it is usually the exact opposite
Yeah.
because people are like, oh, well, I want to give you your space and let you rest and all that stuff. So reach out to me if you need help and let me know what you need.
Mhm.
But in postpartum, I always tell my clients that if you, one, try to have some kind of schedule for people to come over. So, like, if you know that you very much like have your girlfriends or your family that you want and need to see, then go ahead and tell them ahead of time, like, okay, within the first week, I need you to come over 2 times. I don't care which days, I don't care what time, but I need you to come over, even if I say that, like, I'm tired. Sometimes even having them just sit in the same room as you,
Mhm.
not talking, not doing anything, just sitting there and be around you can help so much more than people realize. And then also make sure that you are the one that is reaching out and asking for help or telling people that you need something and not feel bad about it.
Mhm.
That's a big thing is that everyone's like, well, I don't want to inconvenience my friends or family. And I don't
Yeah.
want to, like make them feel like they're going out of their way to help me. If they are your true friends and family, then they won't care and they will be there. So don't wait for people to reach out to you because you might be waiting forever. So instead, just reach out to them, tell them what you need, ask them, like, hey, can you come over? Like, the kitchen's a mess and I'm really struggling with it. Can you please come and help me?
Yeah.
And 99% of the time, they'll be like, yep, I'll be there in like an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know, and I struggle with that too. My first, I would be like, "Oh, we're fine," but the second one, I'm like, "No, this is exactly what I need. I need you this." Like,
Mhm.
what helps this time, and
Yeah.
I don't know why it makes you more confident to kinda speak up and be like, "Hey, this is exactly what I need from you on this day,
Hmm.
this time."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just hard to get to that point to
Yeah.
advocate. Would you say from what you have experienced with others, is there any signs that maybe could trigger or we need to watch around and be mindful of postpartum that might something to watch out for overwhelm coming on or anything like that that we could be aware of that we need to contact our provider or kind of like talk to someone about? Is there any signs that you notice with any clients?
Yeah. So, what I always tell my clients, if you don't already have a therapist, then go ahead and get one and have things already scheduled postpartum.
That's fine.
Because if it's already scheduled, then you will actually go instead of being like, oh, I need to reach out to my therapist. Like,
Yeah.
you're not going to. But I think obviously it all depends on like the personality and all that kind of stuff. But the biggest one for me that I've seen and that I've experienced personally is just that overwhelming feeling of this is all way too much. And
Mhm.
it's if you've been in postpartum, like You know that feeling where it just feels like the walls are all closing in, like your baby is getting bigger, the diapers are everywhere, and it's just very aggressively too much. So I think if you start to have any kind of feeling where you are just like, okay, I'm getting a little bit overwhelmed, then that is the first hint of like, okay, let's ask for help, whether it's from your partner, whether it's your therapist. And then also, if it is something where you feel better secluded, that's a big one too. Like if you are, especially like I've had clients who are very social people, like they have their friends that they want to be around all the time, but postpartum hits and they're like, no, I don't really want to see anyone. I just want to stay home. That's another red flag. And I usually tell the partners that as well. If your person doesn't want to leave and it's not because it's too cold or too hot outside, then like we need to make a phone call and
Yeah.
check in on some things or even call their best friend and say like, hey, you need to come over and sit
Yeah.
for a little bit.
Part. We've talked about how you're a mama of 3 now. How does
Mhm.
that work, being a mama of 3? And then you also are an amazing doula and help people give birth in the most magical ways. So what does a week look like? I mean, I know it can change differently because you're a fresh postpartum, but how has it been for you lately?
Yeah, it's going. I feel like that's the best way to put it. I am very fortunate to have a really supportive husband. He's a stay-at-home dad, so he is currently wrestling all of my children right now. And now being almost 3 months postpartum, I'm kind of like getting back into full-time doula role. And I've learned through having 3 babies, something about that 3rd baby is just everyone says it's different, and you don't really believe them until it happens. But I'm very much now trying to actually be more present with my kids and schedule when I'm working versus when I'm not, because as you know, being a mom and also running your own show, it is very easy to not separate them.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, well, now that my baby is almost 3 months old and my son turns 6 in 2 weeks and he just lost his 3rd tooth, I'm like, "Okay, well, before I know it, you're gonna be grown and getting married and leaving, so we're gonna slow things down a little bit." So, yeah, I'm very much trying to actually, like, schedule and be mindful of when I'm working, when I'm at home with my kids, and I'm thankful for the business that I've created because I've set boundaries with all of my clients as far as like I have a family and all that kind of stuff. And my clients know that if they need me, they can reach me. They all know that. But they also know that I am a human and it's okay to, not answer your phone at 10 o'clock at night if
Mhm.
someone is asking a non important question or something like that. So, yeah, I'm very thankful that I have clients who understand boundaries and that I run a business where I'm able to set my own rules and all that stuff.
Has the strategy or philosophy approach changed to your business now versus before
Mm,
as a mom? Like mama's 1, 2, 3?
yeah, I feel like the only thing that's changed is that I know that my business and my clients are here and my family is growing quicker than I realize. Like my kids are growing up so fast. So I'm just kind of realizing even more so that like my family will always come first and be the most important thing to me. So trying to build systems into my business is a big priority for me this year so that I can still be the doula that I need to be. I can still take care of my clients and have everything go how it does while being more and more present with my family.
Mm. I am trying to find the systems that make things easier so it's not hard and the focus can go back to the kiddos and also the focus stays where it needs to be when I'm teaching or everything else. It's hard though. The foundational work is hard, but once it's
It
there,
is. Yep.
it's gonna like flourish and it's gonna pay off.
Like I have some things that are very much like not automated, but they're more like they're there, they're not going anywhere. They're kind of what helps me run the show. And I'm like, okay, this is great. Like now that this is here, cool.
Now, I would love to go into just kind of some fun, quirky questions. I always love to end the podcast with them.
Okay.
The first
Okay.
one is, what's the most unnecessary thing that still makes your day better? Like, is there something super unnecessary that just makes your day better?
Like, I would say coffee, but coffee is never unnecessary,
I agree. That's not it's always
ever. But maybe the fact that we have a fancy espresso machine and I have to make it at home with my homemade vanilla syrup, that sounds like it.
I always wondered, is it hard to teach yourself to use those machines?
No,
No, okay, because
it's
I don't
not.
make anything, and I'm worried that if I got one, then I wouldn't know what to do with it. You know what I mean?
No, it's very much like the first few times I was like, I don't know what the heck's happening. This is what the baristas at Starbucks do. But now I'm talking to my kids, prepping my coffee, doing all this stuff. And then it's like, boom, coffee's done. Yeah.
Okay.
And now my kids know my coffee order.
Stop it. That's so
Yeah.
amazing.
They'll be like playing with our little play kitchen that we have. And my son's like, Mommy, I have your hot vanilla latte for you. I'm like,
That is
is this a good or bad thing?
well, it's good.
Yep.
Okay, what about this is probably very helpful postpartum. Have you found a tiny habit or ritual that makes you feel like yourself again?
I have working out again
Yes.
because working out, like, I was a collegiate athlete.
Mhm.
Being an athlete and active is always something that has, like, brought me joy, and the feeling of your muscles being sore is, like, another, like, high that, like, oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Yes. Yeah.
So I've actually started working out again the last 2 weeks. I got a walking pad for Christmas, and I was watching Emily in Paris the other night while walking on my walking pad, and I was like, "This brings me so much joy." Like like, literally just, like, a 20 to 30-minute workout, and it's just, like, something that I feel like when you have kids, it is very hard to be okay prioritizing yourself even for, like, 20 or 30 minutes. So it's nice that, like, in the middle of it, I'm kind of reminding myself, like, "It's okay to choose you for a little bit today. It's
Mhm.
okay."
I love that. I took a break from Emily in Paris because I got really sad whenever, when she came back. I know it's probably the
Mhm.
early season. Like, what's the blonde girlfriend at first, and then they
Oh gosh,
I know,
yeah.
I was like, "I can't emotionally handle this." And so I
Mhm.
took a break, and now I'm watching it again. Um,
Okay.
so
Okay,
I
good.
feel you. Are you caught up right now? Or are you I'm in season
I'm in the last season. I don't think I've finished it yet, though.
okay, me either. But for some reason, that gives me so much joy too. It's just to
Uh-huh.
go and just some mommy time with myself. Okay,
Mhm.
what is your no apologies comfort show?
My husband judges me for this, but New Girl,
Oh,
have
I
you
love
seen
that
New Girl?
show. Yes.
I am pretty sure I've watched it, like, between 3 to maybe 6 times. I always watch Gilmore Girls, but, like,
Yeah.
I've watched it way too many times, and every time I watch it, my husband's like, "You've already watched this 5 times." But then he stands there in the corner and he laughs silently, and I'm like, "Mhm,
Okay. What about early night in or a spontaneous night out?
absolutely early night in." I'm a grandma for life over here,
I was
so
for kids. That's the thing.
yes. Yeah, one my best friend, I went and visited her a few months ago for her wedding, and it was, like, 8 o'clock at night, and she was like, "Alright, you ready to go to dinner?" She's like, "No, we're gonna go to dinner." And I was like, "No."
And that's really cute. What about sweet or salty? Do you have a specific snack
Always
cra
sweet.
always sweet. I'm a
It's
salt.
always sweet.
What is the
Mhm.
exact sweet salt or snack?
Currently, I'm really loving these dairy-free, like, I forget what it's called, something Lorenz chocolate cookies. They're at Target, they're really good,
Okay.
but anything chocolate.
Okay. I had this craving with Tim, which is boiled eggs. Don't know why. It stayed
Interesting.
postpartum, and it's nachos and cheese.
Will say, the one thing that I wanted towards the end of pregnancy was tuna. Like, I've always loved tuna, obviously, we know this.
I know, just yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Did your aversion go away?
It did.
Are you good?
It
Okay,
did.
great.
I was so sad.
Great.
I
Yeah,
know.
that was rough. I was really sad for you when you texted me.
I know.
Oh my gosh, I'm heartbroken. I had, like, a week where I was like, "I can't."
You can't do
But I've been making it at home because
that.
my sister-in-law made it, and it was phenomenal, so now I just copy what she did, and I have it every week. Like, I have a massive bowl of it in my fridge right now.
So
So
good. I love that. I just bought 2 things of queso in my grocery order.
oh my gosh. See, Emmy is struggling with dairy or has been. I think she's getting better now, so which is funny because I'm pretty sure I like created her from cheese because I had so much mac and cheese.
Yeah.
And I haven't had queso
That's
since
what's
I think I had it like the first like 2 weeks postpartum.
okay.
I haven't had it since then.
Wow. I'm really upset for you
Yeah.
tonight. Okay. And then the last question is there something ordinary that still feels very grounding to you?
Sound really like cheesy. People are gonna
Oh,
judge me
I
for
blended.
this.
Talked about nachos.
Hugging my husband?
Oh,
Like I don't know. Like it's one of those things where like no matter what is happening in the world, like if he hugs me, then like great.
oh my God. That's not
Why am I getting emotional?
I know because we're postpartum. That's why.
God. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Oh, I hope he listens to this. And I hope he
I know I'm gonna make him, but I'm gonna have to tell him like you have to make it towards the end though,
that
or maybe
felt.
just put that from the beginning.
I had to cut out all the laughter in the beginning. Oh, that's really magical. I love that. I love love. Well, thank you for chatting with me. I know we've kind of gone everywhere today. We started off with a little bit of a laughing attack, but we got through it.
We did. We absolutely did.
We did. I'm proud of us. So, if you don't mind, could you share your business info, how people can contact you? What is the best way to do that? And then also your socials. And then if you wanted to share a code for your partner bootcamp as well, I'll put it in the show notes. But if you kind of want just to touch base on how people can find you.
Yeah. So my website is allyravendoula.com. I'm primarily on Instagram. My Instagram handle is Ally the Doula, Ally with a Y. And I'm hoping to be on YouTube some this year. We'll see. But yeah, honestly, the best way to contact me is either emailing me, which is on my website, or send me a message on Instagram.
Okay.
That's how I connect with a lot of people on there. And then the code that you can use for 15% off of my Birth Partner Bootcamp will just be UFlow15. And like I said, you have lifetime access to it. Yeah.
That's awesome. Very cool. That reminded me, I forgot. We did prenatal yoga, and I think a girl was in your DMs that was literally next to you in class. Is that
She was.
yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, because we were like doing stuff and they were kind of just like talking and we kind of like looked at each other. Because obviously, like if you message me on Instagram, I'm gonna look at your picture. I was like, I feel
Yeah.
like I've seen this person before.
Mhm.
And then she was like, wait, did I message you? I'm like, you did. Wait. So that was so fun.
I know. Small world. Well, perfect. Well, thank you for sharing. I will put everything that you just said in the show notes below. But I really love chatting with you. And I know I'm going to be chatting with you after this. But thank you so much for chatting with me. And I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. This is so much fun.
Thank you so much for being here with me today on the Be Well and Ground podcast. I hope this episode has filled your heart with new ideas, inspiration, and a little more peace. Remember, your journey to balance is uniquely yours, and you deserve all the love and joy and the calm that comes with it. If you enjoyed today's show, I'd be so grateful if you could share it with someone who might need it, or if you could leave a review to help others find this space of support and inspiration. That would be so much appreciated. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode filled with heart and healing. Until next time, take a moment to breathe, honor yourself, and know that you really are doing an amazing job. Sending you so much love and light. Have a wonderful day.